Hi, my name is Bo Chilindra, and I'll be presenting a demo video for feed throttle management. Some customers have reported performance problems caused by a large number of queries hitting their server's feed service. It turns out that RTC clients frequently pull for feed data, and in many cases, it is unnecessary. For example, some feeds pull frequently, but the feeds are never used, and in some cases, the user doesn't even know they are there. As the number of RTC client users increases, so does the number of queries hitting the server, and performance can begin to degrade. In response to this, we've introduced a new feature to reduce the number of feed pulls RTC clients send to the server. This feature is called feed throttle management. First, I'll show you how the RTC client feeds are configured by default and how this can lead to unnecessary pulling to the server. Starting off with a clean RTC installation, I'll create a repository connection to my local CCM server. In the feeds section, you can see that two feeds were created by default. If you look at the feed properties of the My Work Item Changes feed, you'll see that it's configured to update automatically for every 600 seconds. If you look at the Build Events feed, you'll see that it's configured to update automatically every 180 seconds. When I connect to a project area, one more feed is created. Its properties show that it also updates automatically every 600 seconds. So with just one repository connection and one connected project area, I calculated out that my client is pulling 32 times an hour. With 50 clients, that's 1,600 pulls to the server every hour. Fortunately, with the feed throttle management feature, the server can tell the clients to minimize the number of feed pulls. To enable the feed throttle management feature, I need to visit the application responsible for the feeds my client is using. Since my repository connection is to CCM, I know that CCM is the application responsible for my current feeds. So, I'll visit CCM's application administration page at ccm/admin. On the left is a link to take me to feed settings. The section of interest here is the throttle properties section. Here is where we can enable feed throttle management to force clients to reduce the amount of polling to the server's feed service. You can see that by default, the feature is not enabled. Let's go ahead and enable it. This next group of properties, minimum update interval, imposes a minimum update interval for certain types of feeds. Let's go ahead and set the minimum update interval for work item events to 900 seconds. Now, when the work item events feed pulls the server, it will learn of the new minimum update interval imposed by the server of 900 seconds and will adjust accordingly. Instead of waiting for the feed's next pull, I'll go ahead and refresh the feed to force it to pull. Now if I look at the feed's properties, I will see that the update interval has been raised from 600 to 900. If I attempt to lower the update interval, I will get an error saying that the feed server does not allow an interval lower than 900 seconds. The feed throttle management feature also allows the server to tell clients to throttle feeds if they have not been used after a certain number of consecutive updates. This property, threshold for no use, is the number of times a feed can update without the feed being used before the client should throttle the feed. The throttle rate for no use determines how much the client will throttle the feed. You can see here my throttle rate and threshold are both set to 5, to the default of 5. This means that if one of my feeds updates 5 times and I do not use the feed, then the feed's update interval will be increased up to 5 times its current update interval. This throttling will continue as long as I don't use the feed. However, as soon as I do use the feed's update interval will be reset to its original value. As you can see, there are several more properties here, but I've run out of time. You can find more information about the properties I've discussed and ones I haven't in the CLM Info Center. This concludes the demo video for the feed throttle management feature. Thank you. Goodbye.